Hey everyone, how you doing? All right, I found this video on here I wanted to talk about. I've been out of commission for a little while here. Um, Went down to Mexico, like I talked about before, and unfortunately, when I got there, um, AT&T lied to me. They said that they had coverage in all of Latin America and many of the countries down there, and that is not the case, at least with my phone. Because I went down there and sorry, I look a bit ragged. I'll get to the story, but I got really really sick. Um, so I was like gung ho, went down there, super excited. I planned on finishing this fast down there, which is ideally what I wanted to do, just kind of bounce around and maybe get down to like Guatemala or El Salvador, just kind of keep going and check the place out. And then as soon as I finish the fast, come back up. But didn't work out like that. Like I said, AT&T, they said they had coverage all over Latin America. And if AT&T is listening, that's a lie. At least with my phone, in my situation, whatever happened there, but I barely got into Mexico. I mean, barely got in. I think I made it to Del or something, like one of the little towns down there. And that was about it. So I was super fired up, got down there, hardly made it anywhere. The phone, I was getting like not even cell phone reception, like that went out, but I was getting no GPS, which I was using GPS to navigate, obviously. I didn't have like paper maps. One of the new generation, right? I didn't have paper maps, and I couldn't even find, like I looked before I left, I couldn't really even find any paper maps on Mexico for whatever reason. I don't know if Amazon doesn't carry them or what the deal is, but I couldn't really find any. So all I had was this phone. That was it. I was going to use that to navigate all around. I was going to be there for a while. Like I said, finish the fast up and then come back up. And had all these wonderful plans, but that stupid phone destroyed me. And the sickness, which I'll get to. Um, but that's just the way it played out. So I went down there immediately, not like right on the border towns, but like as soon as I got out of the border town there, Piedras Negras, I think it is. Like as soon as I got out of that, I got a little ways down the road. I got to see some of like the beautiful open terrain that they have in Mexico, which was awesome. So I'm really glad I got to see that. It was just like wide open. It's not built up like it is here in the U.S. You've actually got some room to roam out there. It's just nature. It's wonderful. Lots of cacti, which is interesting. You don't want to drive off the road. But yeah, it was gorgeous. Just to be out in nature like that. You don't get to see as much of that like here in the States. At least not where I'm from. So that part was awesome. You get to see the hills in the background and everything, and they had like Big Bend Park there. I wanted to go maybe check that out. I had all kinds of plans, but the phone just killed me. Like I said, I'd barely gotten out of the border, hardly even gotten out of there, and interestingly enough, like I accidentally passed by what I think was some kind of like prison or something. I'm not sure. A bunch of guys with like M16s stopped me, like military fatigues. They wanted to know like what I was doing and where I was going, and the language barrier, that's obviously an issue. They let me go because I probably just look like a tourist. But yeah, the language is problematic. You can get around it. You get like translator apps on your phone. It's annoying, but you can do it. But at the same time, I got dry throat like crazy. This whole cold, but you can get around it. And I wasn't down there really to buy anything. Like I didn't have any commercial interests, and I only had my truck. I couldn't load up a bunch of stuff in there, right? So I wasn't gonna be buying a bunch of junk stuff. Sorry, and so I wasn't down there for like commercial interest. I wasn't gonna be eating, so I wasn't gonna be at like cafes or coffee shops, especially no coffee. Nothing like that, right? So it wasn't like a typical vacation. It was more of like a spiritual, fast getaway, if you will, to go see the countries. And it just all fell apart. Like I said, I barely got out of the town. I ended up like passing by this prison or whatever it was. And, they had the guys with the M16s, like full military views, kind of crazy. And I finally got through that checkpoint and I went on. And as soon as I got past that, I think it was as soon as I got past that, Phone signal went to like zero, which is okay because I still had like the coordinates plugged in. So I guess the GPS works when the cell phone doesn't. But eventually, and obviously that's a problem too, right? Because even if that works, that only works while you've got that plugged in. As soon as you try to get a new destination or anything, or search for anything, like you want to research a place to go to it, you can't because you don't have any cell phone reception, don't have any data. So it just torpedoed me, and I made it to like one little back road, which is really strange. Like definitely like there's some places there that you can just get away. You can just go and get away. I ended up on some road. It seemed like it was like 10 miles long. There was nothing on it. I mean, there's some houses there sporadically, like little houses, but no big developments like here in the U.S. So it was nice. You could just be out in nature, but you're you're also a little isolated, and on this like deserted road or whatever. Not deserted, but just not as populated. There was all kinds of like bottles and bags and shirts and stuff. You could tell like maybe like the illegal immigrants that come into Mexico, they probably like pass through there. Maybe it's like a checkpoint and they get picked up. I don't know. Maybe that's why the security was so high. But the phone just crushed me. I didn't have any way to navigate. Couldn't get around. Didn't have cell phone reception. So like even when I got to a town, like I got to that one town, I hung out. It was super cool. It was a nice little town. I walked around that night. It was really nice. Everyone's super friendly, and the shops were nice that I walked by. I wasn't really going in there, right? I wasn't going to buy anything, but it was a nice little town. They had like a nice little center square area. Everyone was super pleasant. Like I had a really good experience there. Roads are a little tight. It's different, right? It's a different country, but I couldn't research anything to see where I wanted to go. I could plan out a trip. Like I could have tried to make it to Monterey, which was my goal to get there at least initially. But, with just GPS, and if that GPS kicks off and there's no cell phone reception and I can't research, like I'm literally in a country, I have no idea where I am, don't speak the language, GPS doesn't work, no cell phone, just horrible situation. This just wasn't working out the way I planned, unfortunately, and I blame AT&T for that. So I should get a refund or something. Ruined my trip. They said they cover all of Latin America. I barely made it out of the border area. I barely made it out. I had just gotten out of that town when all of a sudden no cell phone reception, no GPS, just awful. And that's why I had to like backtrack and go back. So it is what it is. And oddly enough, it wouldn't have even mattered. It wouldn't have mattered at all because I caught the nastiest cold, upper respiratory infection. I mean, horrible. I'm still getting over it. I think I went down on the 12th, I think it was, that I went down there. Let me see. I'm pretty sure it was the 12th. Yeah. I went down on the 12th, right? So the 12th I went down there and I stayed somewhere halfway. So I actually got there on the 13th. That's when I got there. And I went in. I went to Eagle Pass. Really didn't see anything going on. I didn't see any people detained or anything like that. There was nothing like that. The military was there. They had taken over Shelby Park. I wanted to go to Shelby Park. That's where I had the GPS plugged in. So I went to Shelby, totally blocked off. The military's there. They got everything cordoned off. They had like Humvees and the military folks and all that. And the town was, it was a town. It looked like a border town. So there wasn't much to do there. And, you better be bilingual, in that town because it's just, a lot of people there speak Spanish. So wasn't much I could do there. So I just wanted to get into Mexico and check it out. I was excited. But I went in and it just all fell apart, with the phone. And even if it hadn't, like by the time I wanted to get out of there the night before, I think it was, I tried to get out and I guess they closed the bridge down. They closed it down at a certain time of night and I had to come back at 7 a.m. So I ended up staying there. It was 2 nights. And I stayed right on the border that second night, like literally on the border. And I'm glad I did because like I had nothing else to do. And then I started to feel like Like before I was going to leave, like that night, I started to feel this weird tickle in my throat. And keep in mind, I took my own water. I had a 5-gallon jug of water in my truck. I didn't eat anything. I didn't eat a single thing there, obviously. This is like day 15 of the fast, I think it is. So day 15. So I haven't eaten anything at all. Nothing. Just water, which you're drinking. And I didn't buy anything. I mean, I interacted with a few people, not much at all. Besides like, just hello, things like that. There's no drinks, right? I'm not going to eat coffee, nothing. It's just, I had my own water. I didn't buy any food. Like there's no way I like drank the water and got sick. It wasn't anything like that. I didn't eat any food. There's no lettuce that could have been the issue. There's something respiratory. So that night that I was kind of forced to stay there because the border was down, my throat started to get this weird tickle. And I didn't think anything of it, right? Because I haven't been sick in forever. I'm vegan. I eat pretty healthy. I do eat, some junk food like pizza and stuff like that, vegan pizza, which, I'm going to have to get that curtailed because it's not good. Like the amount of fat and carbohydrates. I'm reading, I don't want to get to an aside, but I'm reading this book, what is it? The Pleasure Trap. It's really good. I wasn't expecting that. It's like really good. It's kind of like about nutrition and things like that and pleasure traps and foods that are artificially condensed, like calorically condensed, and they're just designed to like trip your dopamine sensors. Almost, they say like some of the strongest senses or motivations you could have are like sex and food. Well, this one's like food, and it's everywhere. So it's like you're eating foods that are just like artificially condensed, and they're just tripping your dopamine sensors, and you're just constantly craving them. And then because they're condensed, right, it doesn't, your stomach, let's say your stomach's this big, right? Because they're, calorically condensed, like you're only getting your stomach like this full. So you're really not even close to like physically full, and like the stretch receptors in your stomach don't get triggered because you're not filling it up, right? It'd be like if you had your whole stomach and you just filled it with oil, which is like a truckload of calories, but it's not going to make you full, right? Your stretch receptors aren't going to, activate or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, like I'm already vegan, but I could definitely be a better vegan, like almost like a raw vegan, something like that. I think I'm going to give that a try once I get this fast over with. Just go back to like super clean eating. And I can't guarantee I'll never have a pizza again as like a treat, maybe, but nothing like I was. Because, chips, I mean, chips are vegan. Oreos are vegan. They're just terrible for you. They're calorically condensed. They're loaded with sugar, fats, oils, everything. So they're horrible for you. Like we should be eating like a natural, like clean vegan, like a raw vegan kind of thing. So that's what I'm going to strive towards. Start working on that once this fast is over. Oh man, losing my train of thought. Sorry, my brain's still a little foggy from that sickness. But yeah, great book. If you want, definitely check it out. So, border was closed. I stayed over there. And I'm glad I did. Because I had nothing to do. There was nothing to do. I had a tickle in my throat. I didn't realize I was sick yet. Because like I said, I haven't been sick in, I don't know, like a year longer. I don't know. It's been so long, I don't even know how long it was. Like, I just don't get sick. No drinking, no cigarettes, like no animal products. You're not going to get sick very often. This was a fluke. This is an absolute fluke. The last time I got sick that I can remember that was this bad was when I was leaving the Keys. Not the first trip. Not that one. This was the second trip. I was leaving the Keys. I was going to come back and get my... I won't get into this story, but I was going to come back and get my vasectomy reversed. And I had the appointment set. And as soon as I was leaving the Keys, I think that like the last day I was leaving, I ended up getting sick. And I got back. And then, in retrospect, it was a good thing. But I got back deathly ill, right? So I got COVID. Now that one I literally had COVID. I haven't checked this time, so I don't know what it is. But that time I definitely had COVID because I took the test and I popped positive. So I had that. And like I said, I already had the vasectomy reversal scheduled. Like I paid the surgery fees and everything. It was on. It was on. But I got there and I don't remember exactly how long it was after I had COVID, but they do like a questionnaire whenever you're gonna have surgery. It's like, have you been sick in the last 4 or 6 weeks, whatever the time frame was. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, what was it? I was like, it's COVID. And he was like, well, how long? And I think it was like I'd been out of it for like 2 weeks, maybe something like that. And he was like, oh, there's no way we can do it. He said there's some kind of complication, and if you've had COVID, they can't do whatever the chemicals are, right? Where they put you to sleep and then they wake you up. He said they just couldn't do it. It was too risky. I was like infuriated because I had like planned this. I'd spent the money, the surgery fees. It took a while to get on the calendar. Like I had all this planned out. I was going to go down to the Keys, going to have this vacation, come back, get that done, boom, 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 and then be ready. Because at this point, honestly, I don't even think I could have kids. I've been fixed for so long, and age and everything else. I don't even think it's possible. Which is why I wanted to get it undone at the time. I thought maybe I wanted another kid, but it's just not in the cards. It's not going to happen. So odd timing, that I got sick. Very, very strange timing. I will say that. Divine intervention. I don't know. I guess we'll go with that. But that's the only other time I've been quite this sick. And so the last night I was there, had to stay because I missed the timing on the thing, and I'm glad I did because it was cool. They had like all this artwork up, and Beatriz Negras, like all this artwork up. It was really nice. Walked around the town, and it wasn't busy because everyone, I guess, had like gone to sleep, and the shops had all shut down and stuff. And they had all this cool artwork, like right on the right on the border. You could just walk down this little walkway, and then go down by the waterway, like I guess it's like the Rio Grande. And they had all this cool artwork, and they had these little paths to the side you could walk down, like little walking paths. Those were really nice. So that was a really cool night. I'm glad I got to experience that. Like that, and the town I got to stay in, like those were two really cool things. I got some pictures. I never posted them up of that town. I'll probably throw those up on Instagram, maybe a few of them. But it was nice. So those 2 nights I had, they were really nice. And I'm really glad I got to check the town out before I left. Like I said, the true reason I left is because of my phone. But honestly, it wouldn't have mattered. It absolutely would not have mattered. Because I was sleeping in the bed. I didn't even put the tent up because I found that it's kind of too much work. I mean, you can do it, but I think that's more designed if you're going to be somewhere for like a couple of days to make it worth it. Like you don't want to be setting that thing up and putting it down like in the middle of the night. It's cumbersome. You don't want to deal with that. So I found that you just bed of the truck. I've got like a trifold. You just roll that baby back. You lay in there with like a little sleeping pad and then pull the tripod down. It's like stealth camping. It was great. You had enough room there. You could lay down there. I mean, you couldn't go sideways, but you could lay down there totally comfortable. Blocks the noise out a little bit. Pop in some something to block your ears out. And then like a sleeping mask, which you really don't even need because you got the trifold. I mean, it was comfortable. You could make that work. So I would have been fine that way. But it just wasn't in the cards at all. So, but I didn't even realize it. Here's the part. I didn't know how sick I was going to get because I haven't been sick in so long. I wasn't even thinking about getting sick. Like I never get sick. I have a good diet. I don't kill myself with animal products. So, and I hadn't interacted with too many people, and I wasn't drinking the water. I had my own water. Right? I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but I had my own water just because that's basically my only food source for the last 15 days. And I didn't eat anything. There's no way that got me sick. It must have been just something airborne, like I was walking behind someone or it was in the air. I don't know. It's just crazy. But thankfully, I left because boy, oh boy, would I have been absolutely miserable because this thing came on. It came on. I mean, honestly, it didn't come on slow, to be quite honest. Because, like I said, I had the tickle in my throat that last night that I was going to be there on the border, checking out the artwork, those little walking trails they had. Like, those were nice. And then, wow, I was driving home. And I was going to drive straight through because I just wanted to get home at this point. I was really frustrated. I had all these big plans. I was going to go down there and bounce all over the place and check all these towns out and, different countries and, maybe make it down like El Salvador or somewhere like that. I wasn't going to go as far as Panama, I don't think. Probably would have been too far. But I was just going to check out all these places, all these grand plans. And the phone took me out. That's the main cause that I decided to turn back, because I was handicapped at that point. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't navigate. I was in a country I didn't know, didn't speak the language. Like, it just had no way to research where I wanted to go. And even if I got somewhere, I couldn't research what to do. Like, I was just stuck. I had nothing. So that's the real reason I turned back. But honestly, it wouldn't have mattered. When this thing set in, it hit me like a freight train. It was in my lungs like crazy. All I could do was hack and cough up these oyster looking things. It was disgusting. And in the back of a truck, like laying flat down, can't even turn up. No way. I would have tapped out anyway. I would have maybe made it down to Monterey and had the most miserable drive you could possibly imagine crawling out of there. That would have been horrible. Or I would have ended up there in a hospital. Not maybe like emergency care, probably a hospital, because I wouldn't have known where else to go. And no insurance. I don't know how that would have worked. Probably just pay cash. But probably would have been fine, actually. But I felt absolutely awful. No way I could sleep in the back of a truck. So I was going to get sent home anyway. The way, the cards looked, it was going to happen. But, I turned back because of the phone. I just had no way to navigate, no compass. And as I was driving home, this thing just ran me over. My lungs just full of pudding or whatever, phlegm, nasty. It's completely just took over my body instantly. I never seen it. It was bad. Almost as bad as what I had coming back from Miami when I had COVID. It was like that. It was really bad. And it's probably a bad idea, but I decided to drive straight through. I just wanted to be home. I was frustrated. I just wanted my own bed, see my cats. Like, I was just done at that point because my plans had been blown up. So I was driving home straight through, and maybe not the best decision, because by the time I got down to Florida, those roads, like, you just started driving through these back roads, and there's not many lights there. You're just kind of like driving through the woods. I started hallucinating. I was seeing all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know if that's because of the fever or what it was. I was able to drive, but you could just see things. It was really strange. I forgot. I forgot one of the coolest parts. So while I was down there, so I backtrack a little bit. Like I said, my mind's still recovering. The coolest part, I was down there, and it was the first day that I was there. So I'd gotten out of the border town. I'd gone past the, I think it was a prison. I think it was a prison with the guys in the military fatigues and the rifles and all that stuff. And then it was when I got into that town and I stopped there for a bit. I had like a breakthrough. And I've read it. Like, people say when you're fasting long term, like, you'll have a breakthrough. You'll go through like the first day or two where you're a little bit hungry. And then, after like another like day or so, like, your body, not your body, but your stomach shuts off. There's nothing moving through it aside from water. Your body just kind of gives up on food, it feels like, from my experience. This is my first long time fast in my entire life. I've done a 3-day fast, and it was harder than this. Because of the 3-day fast, you go through those first 2 days, which are probably the most difficult, at least for me. Like, I thought the second day was pretty tough, because you're thinking about food all the time. You've been eating, so it's like, you're trying to get used to it. So I thought a 3-day fast was harder. And then by like the third day, you're clock watching. So to me, like, a 3-day fast is kind of rough. That's a tough one, because you go from eating normal to not eating at all. And on that first day, you're gung-ho. You're like, I'm fasting. I'm not going to eat. So you're kind of mentally, you're good to go. And then the second day, you start to falter a little bit. And you're used to eating, so your body's freaked out. And you're maybe having like hunger thoughts and stuff like that. And then the third day, you're clock watching. So I think the 3-day fast was, for me, was maybe a little harder than this. Because when you walk into a 40-day fast, I mean, you're not really watching the clock. There's no point. You're not eating anytime soon. It's just not going to happen. So you might as well just give up. Just go ahead and throw that towel in on the food, early on. So that's what I did, And like I said, I think it's been easier. It's more of it's quite the experience. It's like ups and downs, and it's a whole journey. A 40-day fast is a journey. It's not just it's not quick, and there's like good days and bad days, but mainly good, to be quite honest. Because once you get to that second day, which was even easier this time because I knew like 40 days is so far down the road. Like, who cares? You don't even think about it. It's not even worth it. So I wasn't, and but I had a breakthrough. Like, I literally had a breakthrough. And I've read about that from people that are fasting. It's like, oh, you can have a breakthrough and you'll feel euphoric. I'm like, yeah, right. I haven't eaten in like I don't know what it was at that point. Like 5-6 days. I don't know. I was like, there ain't no way I'm gonna feel euphoric. I don't have any food in my stomach. Like, I have no calories. What are you talking about? But oddly enough, like, our bodies are designed to do exactly this. Like, that's the whole reason I've been storing fat for so many years. I've just been getting ready for the fast. That's all it was. It was just fast preparation. It wasn't me eating way more than I should or eating packaged garbage, full of chemicals and dopamine triggers and stuff in my stomach with oils and salt and fat, refined carbohydrates and all that. No, 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 no. I was just getting ready for the fast. That's all. So, now that you're ready for the fast and you've packed on all that gasoline for your body, it's just time to burn it off. That's all. And so yeah, this is what we're designed to do. So I'm just burning off all that fat that I purposely put on my body over the years. But I literally had a breakthrough. I had that moment. I was like day 6 maybe, because I think I started on like the 7th. It was the first full day. Like, I started on the 6th technically that night, but it's 40 days and nights, so it's the whole thing. So the 7th was technically the first full day and night, and so I guess this was like, I don't know, like maybe 6 days in. I think it was like 6 days in, and it was euphoria. It was the craziest thing ever. I felt great, like amazing. And keep in mind, this is on top of me going to Mexico. I had these grand plans, like, I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna bounce to all these countries, I'm gonna see everything. Come back after the fast. I got this huge plan all set out, everything. And then I had this like euphoric day, or at least part of the day. Man, probably the whole day actually, because I went to sleep. I didn't feel sick till the next day. So yeah, the day before, get this, the day before I got sick, before I knew I was sick with the sore throat and it all set in, the day before, I was the most euphoric I have ever been. Well, I was euphoric. I was on cloud 9. I was super happy for no reason, just because I had been fasting and I was in Mexico and I was doing my thing, and I felt amazing. It was like a natural high. It was like fake drugs that I was on. That's how good I felt. I mean, just excited, full of energy, euphoric. It was what I'd read in some of these posts, about like fasting, long-term fasting. It happened. It happened to me, so I know it's true. It's one thing to read, it's another thing to experience it. And then, after that beautiful, euphoric day, even though I had those cell phone problems prior to that, which is why I had to backtrack to that town, even though I still felt amazing. And then I got absolutely hammered with whatever hit me. So I got set up on cloud 9, feeling amazing, and then got absolutely destroyed and sent back down to the ground by whatever this sickness is that I'm still getting rid of. And I don't know how long this is going to take, because I'm through the worst of it. I lost my voice entirely. I couldn't even talk. And now there's still like all this congestion that I'm just slowly getting up and through my airways and all that stuff. But yeah, I was mentally, like emotionally, I was put up on a pedestal, and then someone took an 18-wheeler and ran me over, is what it felt like. So I spent that last night in Piedras Negras. It's great. Went home, started driving through the woods, hallucinating. I don't know if that was a fever or what it was. Like, it was surreal what was happening. And I got through that. I finally made it home. I was at the bed. Should I have pulled over? Probably. Probably. But pride creeps in. You just want to get home. You're really frustrated, and there was really nobody on the road, hardly anybody. So I made it home. But should I have pulled over? Probably. But then I got home. So that's that story. I didn't really get on here to tell that story. I was going to talk about this video. So we'll get to this video here in a second. But that's the story. So 15 days into the fast, went to Mexico. Every plan I had got absolutely destroyed. I went from the top of the world feeling like so happy, cloud nine, everything's amazing, fast is going well. And then someone just ran me over with a 18-wheeler and filled my lungs with pudding. It's kind of how it felt, and everything up here was just green and just nasty, just disgusting. And I never get sick. So this came out of the blue. It's the same thing that happened when I left the Keys that one time. I was coming back to get the vasectomy reversal. The day I was leaving the Keys, I had a wonderful time in the Keys. It was my second time down there. I had a wonderful time. I was trying to not relive, but like re-experience the initial trip, right? 2022, I was trying to kind of rekindle that. And the second trip was great. But unfortunately, like the day before I was leaving, I caught COVID and it knocked me out. And then like I said, I felt okay, fine by the time I was going to get the reversal done. But then they're like, oh, we can't do it because you've had COVID. I just got so frustrated, got angry with them, and eventually got it refunded, and just it's never going to happen. So it doesn't really matter. I guess that's what was supposed to happen, but it's just not it's not in the cards for me. It's just not in the cards. So made it home, and here I am. So 15 days into the fast, I got like 25 days to go. I'll make it. I'm not going to eat. I don't care. If I end up in the hospital, so be it. But I seriously doubt that'll happen because I feel fine. I'm not hungry. My stomach's already given up. I do have thoughts of food. Like last night, I was looking at food yesterday because I'm going to try to go like raw vegan. Try to get like really like take it back to the garden, right? Just go back to like super healthy, like what we're supposed to be eating. Plant-based foods, nuts, seeds, legumes, leafy greens, things like that. Vegetables, fruits, just stuff we're supposed to be eating, right? Hence our teeth, right? By design. So I'm trying to get back to that and get off all the processed stuff. Potato chips and, the pizzas, and I don't eat Oreos, but you know what I mean? The stuff like that. Cookies, just crap. Processed garbage that they dump like salt, oil, sugar, and all the refined carbohydrates. I'm going to try to get off all the breads and stuff like that. Just take it back and just go natural. Just the way we're supposed to be eating, and give my body what's like easy to break down and what's easy to fill my stomach up, so those like stretch receptors realize what's going on, and you just naturally kind of know when to stop eating and you don't have hunger pains. So I'm trying to get there, and that's my goal once this fast is over. But I don't have any fears about making it. I mean, I don't really have any hunger pains other than, which is weird because you'll have like food thoughts. Like I literally had food dreams. I dreamed last night that I was like eating this big pizza that was rolled over. It's probably because stupid news station that my parents watch, my mom and brother, like they had this stupid thing. This is watching all these pizzas, and I love pizza. Like mellow mushroom pizza, that's my thing. I love mellow mushroom pizza. They have a good vegan pizza, but it's terrible for you. You just because of the calorie content and the oils and salt and everything else. Like it's not refined carbohydrates. It's not good. It's vegan, but it's not like good for you. Maybe in a very, very small portion. But I had dreams of like pizza last night, but it's different. Like even when I woke up, I wasn't hungry. Like I wasn't thinking about going to get a pizza, even though I can think about it. Like, oh yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, you fold it over. It's nice, right? You eat it. But there's no urge to go do it because I know I can't. After 15 days of not eating, like your stomach is not, your intestines, you're not ready to just go eat food. You can't just do that. I'm pretty sure that would be painful if your body if you try to like jam food into it after that long. They say you have to go through like a refeeding cycle where you give it like small bits of food and kind of like wake the systems up. And right now my body's running on ketones, which is nothing but just breaking down fat. So my body is a fat burning machine at this point. All my body does is burn fat all day long. all day when I'm moving around and all night when I'm sleeping. All I do is burn fat. That's the only thing my body can live off of right now. It's pulling everything out of my stores. Like all that bad eating that I've been doing for years, I was just getting ready for the fast. And now I've got all that gasoline strapped in my body. And now my body can use it. So every hour you see me, all I'm doing is burning fat. No weight loss drugs, no pills, nothing like that. I just burn fat. It's what I do. So it's if you're ever trying to lose weight, you don't need pills. You don't need Ozempic. You don't need any like special wonder drugs. You don't need any ground up herbs that they sell you for like $80 or $90 in a plastic bottle. You don't need anything. You don't even need to go to the gym. You can lay on your floor for 40 days and not eat, and you'll lose a ton of weight. Drink a lot of water though. Stay hydrated. But you will be a fat burning machine. Don't do it for the vanity. Do it for the health aspects. It's not healthy to carry around all that spare gasoline you have strapped to your body. But from gluttony, right? Let's take it back to the core issues, gluttony, right? Which is not 100% our fault because the food is artificially calorically condensed and it's designed to trip your dopamine sensors to keep you wanting it like a drug. And it's also so dense that it doesn't fill your stomach up, right? Your stomach's only this bit full, right? But there's plenty of room in there, so those stretch receptors aren't moving around like they're supposed to. And so you're being set up to fail, basically. If you eat processed food, you're being set up to fail. And what else would a food manufacturer want to happen? They don't want you to eat less. They don't want you to fast. They're not going to make any money like that. If they want to make money, they need you to get you to eat a lot. Way more than you should. They need you eating a lot of animal products, murdering a lot of animals to eat them. They need you eating a lot of garbage, crackers and breads and processed chips and cookies and cakes and all this junk. They need you eating all of that because you're going to eat way more than you need to compared to like a nice salad, right? Or a potato or something natural, something from the ground, right? Vegetables, fruits, nuts, seeds, legumes, leafy greens, things like that. Things that'll take up room in your stomach that are supposed to be in your stomach that are easy for your body to break down. Those things, beans, right? Things like that. Those are things your body knows how to break down. And they take up a normal amount of space. They're not condensed. They're not super processed. So then your body gets satiated and you know you're okay and you feel good. And your body knows what to do with them. So food manufacturers have no interest in you being able to control your weight. They don't want you to control your weight. They want you to consume products so that they can make a whole lot of money. And they can give money to their shareholders, which you're probably a part of in your 401k. So you're kind of part of the problem too, because we're all looped into 401ks and we probably don't even know what's in them, right? You get like a target date retirement fund, you don't even know what's in there. So you're probably contributing to this or profiting from it too, oddly enough. Even though you're giving that back in your medical bills from diabetes and heart attacks and strokes and whatever other issues we have, right? The food industry, our food supply, kills us. And it keeps us sick and it keeps us in the hospitals, which keep the medical industry flush with cash. So the food industry kind of feeds the medical industry, oddly enough, and the funeral business. Which, who knows? Maybe because of Social Security, they don't want you to live too long. Who can say? I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but processed food is absolutely horrible. And I've seen that from my own family, friends, people I know everywhere. I don't even go to restaurants anymore. Like, broke up with my ex, and that was pretty much the only reason I ever went out to restaurants, because she liked to go to them. I have no interest in them. I prefer to cook at the house or make something raw at the house, and stay here. I don't like doing restaurants. But yeah, our food industry is absolutely terrible. And because of it, a lot of people are overweight and they get frustrated and they give up, and they just, what do when they get upset and they give up? They eat more. They eat cookies and treats, and they like try to emotionally like fill that void with food, and it's just this vicious cycle. Then you end up with diabetes or heart attacks, strokes, plugged arteries from all the animal products. It's awful. This place is a mess. There's so much to clean up. I don't know how we're doing on time here. Oh, actually, I might cut this one short. The whole point of this video, I was going to do this. I was going to go over these cattle they caught. There's like 19,000 cattle they caught stinking in South Africa's Cape Town that pulled in. But honestly, this has already gone so long. I don't want to drag this one out. I don't want to put those two together. So I'll probably end this one and maybe do another video later on today. But that's it. That's the trip. That's what happened. That's why I'm not in Mexico or one of the other countries. Everything fell apart. Went down there and just didn't work out. AT&T lied to me. Phone didn't work. No GPS. Wouldn't have mattered, to be honest. I got so deathly ill that it wouldn't have mattered. There's no way I could have slept in the back of a truck, hacking my lungs out constantly all night long. Wasn't going to happen. So I'm back here now. I'm resting up. I feel a little bit better now. Like it's still like congested and getting everything out of my system. Probably take another week before I'm back up and running at 100%. But it was bad. I haven't been that sick since I left the Keys. So hopefully I don't get sick for another long while. That would be ideal. And I think that's about it. So I'm just going to finish up the fast. Got 25 days to go. And then I can slowly start refeeding. And then I'll go to like that, probably like a raw vegan kind of thing. Maybe lightly cook things. I don't know. I'm going to try both. See how it goes. So hopefully everyone gets off the processed garbage so we can get people out of the hospitals. And you'll notice that your weight goes down dramatically because you'll actually be satiated from what you're eating. And please don't take any like weight loss drugs, stuff like that. It's absolutely unnecessary. I forgot to mention, like I'm already down. I didn't even check today. I checked a couple days ago and I was down 20 pounds. How much of that's water weight? I don't know. Not too much. I can actually tell on like my clothing and stuff that there's there's some weight loss going on. So that's not 20 pounds of just water. I'm not saying to fast for that. Mine is a religious fast. It's different. But it's also not healthy to carry around a bunch of fat stores, gasoline for your body that you don't require. That's been there for quite some time. So, if you're looking to lose weight, absolutely go like vegan for one. Get all that fat out of your system, all from the animal products and everything else and all the processed garbage food. And, if you want to, definitely try a fast out. Maybe a longer term fast. You'll see very quick results because your body will turn into a fat burning machine. It has no choice. After about a day, maybe 24 hours plus, something like that, you'll be out of glycogen, which is like all the sugar you get from eating food. And after that, you're a fat burning machine. It's all you do. You burn fat when you sleep. You burn fat when you walk around. Don't do any heavy exercise. You don't want to do that. But that's all you'll do is burn fat. So if you're looking to get rid of fat, don't do it for vanity. Just do it to be healthy. But it's a fantastic way to do it. And it will absolutely change your relationship with food because it will teach you self-control. You'll learn self-control from denying yourself food. In a culture that, at least where I am, food is more than plentiful, advertised everywhere, in your face constantly, on the television, on your phones, on the advertisements, you drive by restaurants. It's, they call them king's diseases, right? They were diseases that only kings used to get. Right? Heart attack, stroke, maybe like gout, things like that, diabetes. Those are like things kings used to get because they had the money to afford all those beautiful processed foods, right? That are so great for us. And now we all have king's diseases because food is cheap, mass-produced garbage, full of all the things we don't need. Because the further you get away from nature, the worse off you're going to be. And that's how you should look at your diet, right? The further you get away from nature, the worse you're going to be. But I hope everyone has a great day and a great week and great year. I'll start to feel better here soon, hopefully. I hope. But that's it for now. I just remember, God loves us and wants to provide guidance and wants to help us out along the way. So please listen.